gang, Nikki from Bunny Crafts Oxford here. How's everyone doing? I'm really excited about this video. I am hoping that the weather will start brightening up. Here in the UK, some of the more severe restrictions are being lifted, so there's a lot of exciting things happening. And of course my pan's going to start making noise now that I'm recording. Let me just give it a quick swish. Okay. So why am I excited? Well, there is a possibility of being able to see more friends through social distancing outside. Weather's warming up, and I have my very first virtual yarn festival coming up this Saturday. It's through Yarn Craft Festival on Instagram, and I will link their Instagram page below. And we had a garden party brief if anyone wanted to dye yarn specifically for these festivals. So this is what we're going to try and do here. I have a couple of ideas. One of the things that I really like about a good yarn party is a good cocktail that's flowery and beautiful and colourful. And what's been really popular recently is Aperol based cocktails. Aperol is this sort of slightly bitter kind of interesting drink that you mix with all sorts of things. So I have an image in my head. I will make sure that I show it to you when I edit the video, and we're going to try and yeah, and we're going to try and dye some yarn. So the first thing we're going to do is we want to get this sort of coral orange colour, or salmon colour if you want. So over here I have some 1% solution of Dharma salmon. No, I lied, Jacquard salmon. And I'm not even going to use my measuring cups. I'm actually going to use my measuring spoons because I want this to be quite light. We are going to put quite a lot of yarn in here, but I still don't want the yarn to be very bright. This is just going to be like a base that we're going to use. So we're going to put 1, 2, 3. Let's give it a mix and see what it looks like. Maybe mix less vigorously. So I think it's 10 cups of water in here. This is my full-size catering pan, and I have 2 teaspoons of citric acid as well. I was thinking of possibly using purple pop in this yarn as well, so I upped the acid content. I quite like this. It looks really cool on the camera where you're getting like the dye sort of swirling through. I quite like the colour we have right now, so I'm going to prepare the yarn as well. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, I think they're 4 skeins of yarn that we're going to put in here, and we're going to twist them. I have a MCN, so merino cashmere nylon DK. I have an MCN sock. I have an 80-20 high twist sock, and I have some Suri alpaca as well. So we're going to start with the sock. I'm just going to twist, so I'm going to take the skein, I'm going to twist it. Oh, nearly dropped it in there, that would have been nice and messy. And I'm literally just going to place it in here. I'm going to do with each one of them. So I'm going to twist and place. Should probably, I don't know whether I can pre-twist them or, okay, I know what I need to do. Turn the heat down. This is why it's so vigorous. Okay. I have so much yarn soaking right now. Okay, high twist. And this is exactly the sort of colour I'm hoping to get. So I don't mind that it's going over and things. And now the Surrey. I'm actually going to do 2 of the Surrey, I think, possibly. No, I'm going to do 1. I was thinking of doing 1 for myself as well, but I might actually just use the high twist sock. We'll see. Okay, so here's the Surrey, twisted in. I wonder whether, do you know what, I'm gonna go and grab another do I grab another DK? Or just leave it? It's actually absorbing quite quickly, so let me just move the camera just a little bit. So you can see over here where we put the sock already, it's absorbed all the colour, and over here as well it's doing that. So the Surrey will grab some colour in a minute, and then what we're going to do, what I might do is take this over and swap it over here, and you'll get a bit more colour, and that's okay. So based on the picture that we've seen, I'm going to take these big ones off. There are some blues in there, and there's several different kinds of blues, so I can see some quite dark blues. So I think what I would use, let me just get my dyes. What I'm thinking of using is, for the dark blues, some royal blue from Jacquard. And we're going to speckle this yarn. We're going to untwist it in a minute once we feel like we've got all of the salmon absorbed. We're going to untwist it, and then we're going to speckle it, leave it for 20 minutes, turn, speckle again. That's the idea. Okay, so for the yellow, we are going to use some, again, bright yellow from Jacquard, and then there is this sort of deep purple raspberry colour. So I'm not sure whether to use Plum Dandy, the Dharma's Plum Dandy, or whether to use Dharma's Cabernet. Cabernet is obviously a lot more wine and burgundy, and the Plum Dandy is got a lot more sort of purple to it. So I'm probably going to have a quick look at the picture again before I decide. Another thing I was wondering is whether to also add some green. Even though you don't see green in the picture, I feel like a garden party with a little bit of green might be quite nice. But I think the best thing to do, I will, but also wanted to use some pink. There's just so many possibilities. I also have, where's it gone? I've got some lilac from Jacquard, so there is some purples in there, so I might sprinkle that. I might use my emerald for the green, although that's a really bright colour. See, this is my problem. Oh, maybe that chartreuse might be a good idea. Let's see what happens. I've been thinking about this for 3 days, and I'm not gonna lie, I still don't know what I want to do, because there's so many possibilities. So yeah, let's have a quick look on how our water's doing. Our water's looking pretty, yeah, it's pretty clear. Cool. So I'm just going to grab this, let it untwist, bring it out. Grab it, let it untwist, and I'm also just trying to open it up to a little bit more of the white that we have. So by opening up, you see how the skein hangs this way. If you flip it over, you're going on the inside, and it brings the inside out, and you get more, you can see there's a lot more weight, so it lets us get to the wider part of the skein. So we're going to do that. I absolutely love this sort of salmon peach colour. It's so beautiful. I'm really curious as well to see what the brushed alpaca is going to do. It has some silk content, so obviously with alpaca and with silk, I say obviously as if everyone knows this, so alpaca and silk absorb colour differently, a lot slower, and also it takes a lot more pigment to get the same level of intensity to some of the superwash yarns that I use. So all of the yarns on here apart from the alpaca are superwash yarns, and superwash yarns are treated in a particular way, either through using a polymer or through a chemical treatment to remove some of the scales that make up the fibre, and it's the scales that, by removing that, it makes the yarn a little bit smoother, and it also means that it makes colour easier to absorb for some reason. It's a lot of chemistry in there, and superwash yarn's a little bit stretchier as well. I'm doing a lot of research because I'd like to write a blog about the difference and let people know, you know, what the difference is, how to treat the different yarn as well. So with superwash yarn, because you're removing these scales or you're smoothing them out by glazing with the polymer, you are making machine washable essentially. So that's the plus to superwash yarn, superwash wool. Okay, so I'm just going to pause this and have a really quick look at the photo. I should have probably not put it on my phone while filming. Yeah, I think rather than pause, I just completely turned video off, but it's fine. So we're going to start with the blue. We're not going to mix it with citric acid. We're going to try and literally just sort of zigzag, have one pass, not go completely bonkers. I want this to be a light, bright colourway. I'm of course going to be working with dry powder dye, so I've got my mask that I'm going to put, so apologies if I sound a little bit muffled. And yeah, I think to me the blue is the one colour in the picture that is most dominant. So, oh god, I'm tangled in the actual straps of the mask. How have I done this? I don't know how I've done this, but I seem to be really good at doing this sort of thing. Okay, I think I got it. Cool. Okay, so yeah, so the blue and the yellow are the two dominant colours, so I think I'm definitely going to start with the blue. Yellow, although yellow takes a little bit longer to absorb, but I'm a little bit worried that it will spread too much and mix maybe. Yeah, no, I'm going to stick to my original plan. I'm going to start with the blue, so mask on. Okay, we're sealed. So I'm literally going to have a spoon and the dye, and I'm going to take a little bit on the edge of the spoon, just a tiny bit, and just tap it and sprinkle. Oh god, this is really bright. I'm going to regret this. I might regret this. Can I do it with my fingers? Would that be a little bit more subtle? Not really, no. Okay. This blue is bright. Okay. So we're going to use this part of the spoon. It helps to be a little bit less mad. This looks really bright, but I need to remember it's only a little portion of the yarn. This is kind of what I want as well, and I might have knocked the camera. A little bit up there, maybe a little bit down here. kind of want to prod this and spread it out a little bit. I want to do the same here. Okay. I mean, we started, and hopefully this will still look awesome when it's dry. We'll find out. Let me just wash my hands. It takes, I've got the air going on because I'm just thinking. We're going to try the yellow and see what happens. I'm going to try and stay away from too much of the blue. Let's close the yellow before we go completely bonkers. I think I want to do a little here. I think this is why I tend to mix my powders usually with citric acid. It's just easier to control, but I'm kind of, this is growing on me. I think as we add more colour, hopefully it'll be better. Well, that blue is exactly the blue I was kind of going for, so I just need to remember the edges of the yarn as well, where the ties are. So just kind of, I'm just taking very, very little. I'm spraying with it. I think I'm going to just prod it a little bit because I can see, especially up here with the tires, I can see the yellow powder not dissolving. Yeah, so the yellow definitely like needs a little bit of prodding. So I guess it's not going to be as much speckled as it is just going to be blotches of colour. And actually, I kind of prefer this because the flowers that we have in the picture that are in the cups, oh my god, there's like, we're getting some green anyway. This is going to happen. The colours that we have in the picture, the flowers are quite big bits of colour, so this is not too bad. This is a perfect example of this is kind of not what I had in mind, and so I'm upset. But actually it's not bad. I'm going to add a bit more water to the pan. It's hot water. I don't know whether to turn them to add, I think we're going to add the plum dandy rather than the cabernet. Although I can't decide on that either. And I know the cabernet is so intense that I might actually mix it with a tiny bit of citric acid. Let me get some. Where's my citric acid? Oh, sorry, it's right there. Okay, let's close the yellow. I'm just going to have to watch this bubble. I'm going to use this because I'm not doing a lot at all. So I've got a teaspoon of citric acid in there. And I am going to show you. So the cabernet is genuinely like so madly intense. It looks black in the jar. And I'm going to take like this much, and even then I'm going to do that and add it to the citric acid, so it looks like nothing in here. But I'm going to do a swirl. Barely looks coated actually, so I might do a little bit more and I'll get this. So, okay, another tip. Boom. Okay, this looks more like it. I'm just going to be very, very gentle with this. So I'm just going to take a small pinch and just go to a couple of the places where you think. Okay, yeah, this was a good pour. Gives me a lot more control. I've got like the blue and the yellow in citric acid form as well. But I actually have to say, adding the Cabernet is bringing it all together. Yeah, okay, I'm getting happier now. I need to remember again the edges. Remember the edges, Nikki. So my big question is going to be, when do I start? It's like Nikki's constant dilemma is, when do I start? I'm really enjoying it. I think the Cabernet, I'm really now, it kind of looks like what I wanted. I still feel like the blue is not quite where I wanted it, but I can sort of sort that out a little bit on the other side. And that's fine. Okay, my fingers feeling good. Oh, there it is. Okay, let's close this so I can take the mask off and touch you properly. Okay, so I'm going to give this a bit of a prod just to see how this is going. I might just prod it with a spoon. I have a metal spoon, I don't know where it's gone. This is actually like taking, I mean, I know I've got quite a bit of, well, it's not a huge amount of citric acid considering the amount of yarn we have in water, but this seems to have struck. Okay, so I'm going to put my finger gloves on and turn this. Over here, so we do have, let me just bring it over, we have brought some green into it, and because it's mixed in different types we actually have different shades of green, and I'm not mad at all. So we're going to turn this around to try and get the other side of the yarn. And this is going to be quite a variegated, this is going to be a very variegated colourway. I don't, you know, I don't want it to be in any way self-striping or repeating or anything like that. And because of the way that these colourways are made, each and every single skein, even dyed like this, you can see is going to be completely different. So when using it in projects, if you are going to be making something bigger that takes multiple skeins, then the advice is always to alternate skeins every row or every other row, so that you don't get as much difference between the skeins. It blends it together and it actually gives you quite a nice nice effect. And I have a few skeins that are this sort of colourway that I have dyed for myself, not this colourway, but this type of variegated colourway, I mean, that I plan to use in sweater. This has got really mixed up, and I don't know why. Okay, oh, I do know why. Hold on. So apart from the DK on here, I actually have a sock mini, and when I dye a colourway now for the first time like this, I add a mini for myself so I can do a swatch and sort of get an understanding of how it might knit up and how it might crochet. One thing that is really worth mentioning, especially when it comes to swatching and seeing a swatch, is you have to think, first of all, what yarn weight is the swatch in? Second of all, how many stitches is the swatch made out of versus what your project is? Depending on, especially if they're sort of micro striping colorways or something like a dip dyed yarn where you go from light to dark, things like that, you have to think about these things, because the different size of the project, the different yarn weight, different hook size or needle size will produce a different effect from the very same yarn. So I have swatches that have made one thing, and then I've knit a sock or I've knit a hat and the yarn's done something completely different, and you will think it's two different yarns. And this is why, while swatching may give you an idea, it's never actually going to be, oh, this is exactly what my garment is going to look like, this is exactly what the yarn is going to do. And again, with hand-dyed yarn, each and every single skein you're going to get is going to be different. Everyone is unique. There is no way that we can control dyeing process to that level that we can produce hundreds and hundreds of identical skeins. It's small batch dyeing. Even though we measure, you see, I've got my solutions measured out. I have you know, my measuring spoons and everything. When you're sprinkling with dye, you've no idea how much dye you're putting versus, you know, grams of dye versus grams of yarn versus water. Just not a clue, unless you weigh it out. Always mix it with exactly the same amount, and always mix exactly the same amount of dye. And then you can't control where that grain of dye is going to fall, can you? So especially for people who are new to the fibre arts, who are buying hand-dyed yarn for the first time, do bear this in mind. This isn't art. This is a form of, yeah, this is a form of art, and each and every single one of our skeins is a baby to us. We love them. So, you know, don't be upset if you get something that isn't exactly what you are hoping to get. Also, especially if you're buying it online rather than in a craft shop at the moment, monitors differ, cameras differ, colours can be quite, especially reds and greens, can be quite hard to capture. So do keep in mind that what you see on your monitor may be very different. So now that I've given you this lecture on yarn and yarn dyeing, let's do some more speckling. I'm going to start with the blue again, but I'm going to try and be a little bit more controlled. Again, probably famous last words. So we're going to grab a very small amount of blue, and we're just going to just be very gentle. And where I see there is blue on the other side of the skein, I'm going to be a lot more. I'm trying to stay away from it, and I'm just literally, like you can see, I'm barely got anything, because look at how pigmented this color is. It's just so bright, and I mean it's royal blue, so it's kind of what it's supposed to do. But yeah. And again, I'm going to spread it out, because that's kind of what we want. A bit more there. You know, I printed it on the other side, so I'm just going to do the same here. I'm going to use my spoon to move things around. It's going to be a big patch of blue here on the soil. Not so much blue over here on the bouquet, so I might throw the spoon out. Actually, I'm going to use a different spoon. I'm going to take the smallest of pinches and just do that, and then tap it. Okay, we've got a blue. Let's do the same with the yellow. Tiny bit of yellow. Again, just tapping it and trying to kind of avoid the blue as much as I can. We'll get some greens and stuff, that's okay, but when I dumped the first load of blue on here, I'm not going to lie, I was upset. And maybe the blue was a mistake as a starting colour, but I have some yellow on the spoon, so again I'm going to dab it. I think yeah, what we should have started with was probably the yellow, and then added the Cabernet, because the Cabernet definitely in my mind brings it all together. Like I see this, and I'm like, yeah, I mean it's pretty, and like I love this. Don't get me wrong, I absolutely love these colours, but it's not what I was going for. I'm hoping because this is going to dry a lot darker as well, a lot lighter even. So I'm really hoping that it will brighten up a little bit more. I'm just going to add our Cabernet. We're going to add all of the Cabernet acid dye that we, like citric acid and dye that we mixed. I've got some over here that I want to do. Get my fingers in here, and then what I'm going to do, and this is so warm, just going to do that. I want more Cabernet. I don't think I've quite got enough on this side. Okay, so I'm just gonna. I'm probably going to regret this. I'm literally going straight with just dye. And I've got the spoon. I'm just going to dab it in the places where I want a bit more of the Cabernet. Oh, Actually, I'm not regretting this, I'm loving this. Okay, let's get a bit more. I'm just going to use my hands. There. Let's see. Right. I see what the sugar is. So a little bit more there. And this might seem really strange to you. It probably is really strange to most people. I just have a lot of dye on my hands and I don't really want to waste it. This. Oh my days. This is going to be really fun. Sorry, I'm just being quiet. I might just put music over these quite big, but I'm thinking I have closed everything so everything's up. So I had a little bit of dye all in this jug, so I mixed it. This is a Cabernet, and it is maybe like 1/10 of a gram. Look at how pigmented this colour is. It's absolutely bonkers. What I want to do, I can find my video, is I just want to sort of, yeah, the Cabernet's kind of taken over a little bit on this side, because I may have gone a bit overboard, but I actually quite like this. So what I think I'm going to do is, because this is exclusive to the Yarn Craft Fest, I am going to, I've got 2 more of the alpaca yarn. Just want to move this around and see. See, I feel like there's still areas where there isn't quite enough colour. Then what do? I just add a bit of yellow. This one, have a look. Now, hot. How do I touch this knowing it's hot? I'm ready. Woo! Okay, this is hot. And my... I don't know where that happened. Oh, it's because when I was holding it, I pressed this and I lost my zip line. I'm just trying to, like, I'm moving the yarn around, just trying to see whether, like, what I think about colour and stuff, and I love how variegated this is. I love how bright it is. It is absolutely just me. I can see that there isn't all that much colour on this side. At the bottom, I'm going to try colourful. I think just a little bit more yellow. I think with this, we've got all the other colours. It's the yellow I think that's missing, so I'm just going to add a little bit more yellow to them. And I do mean I'm just going to try and be like really subtle with it. So what I was trying to say and then changed my mind, and maybe didn't change my mind, is I've got 2 more of the cereal packer that are soaking. And because this colourway is exclusive to the Yarn Fest, I don't think this is going to be featured on the website permanently. So I'm going to dye a few more skeins, and then those are all the skeins that they're going to be. So there's going to be 3 of the cereal packer. Well, there's going to be 3 of each type of skein, possibly. I don't know about the high plus because I've had some issues with my supplier getting some of my yarns, and the high plus is one of the yarns that at the moment I can't get with any of my suppliers, which is really frustrating, as you can imagine. And yeah, so I think what I might do is, yeah, I'll see what I have. I'll dye a few more, and then this is going to be the exclusive colourway. So, thank you for watching so far. Let me take this off. Thank you for watching so far. I am going to go and continue to dye the rest of the skeins, and then when they're all dry and ready, we'll come back and have a look at what we have. So I'm just going to leave this in here for about 20 minutes before I start dyeing the other skeins. I need to decide what I'm going to do with this as well. I think I might just put that in a pot and do a dip dye skein or something. Just for myself. I do have some DK yarn that I'm thinking of dyeing in these colours, so we'll see. Right, I will see you when the yarn is dry. Bye bye. Oh my gosh, you guys, we have the dry yarn, and look at this. Look at these beautiful colours. We have some speckles here and there. I'm just gonna put this down and just let you admire. It is so beautiful. If you go to the beginning of the video when I start putting the blue down, you may remember I was not happy. It didn't do what I originally wanted it to do, which was fine speckles, and I don't know why I thought the blue was going to do fine speckles if I was just going to sprinkle it on as pure powder rather than mixing it with citric acid. But yeah, I just wasn't well ahead when I was planning this, I guess. But I can't hold on, let me get more comfortable. I keep like starting these videos on my knees, on the floor with the camera, and then progressively getting more and more painful on my knees. So what are we looking at here? We have so this is the high twist, 85% merino, 15% nylon. And then we have the cereal packer silk, which I will show you. Let me just I can't even begin to explain how soft this is. So obviously because of the silk and type of fibres that the suri is, it absorbs dye very differently. So we have these much more subtle watercolours going throughout the yarn and the fibres, and I absolutely love the Cabernet and the way it interacts with the salmony colour, and I love the yellows as well, and the fact that we have some green just by mixing the blue and the yellow. So I absolutely love this. I'll just leave this here for now. I'll skein it later. Then this is the DK, so it is an MCN base, and so that's 80% merino, 10% cashmere, 10% nylon, and again this base is softer than Clouds. It is absolutely beautiful. I've spent the whole day just kind of squishing. So yeah, so this is kind of like, you can open up the skein and you can see again we have this beautiful yellow that's become a lot deeper and, you know, almost orange in places because of the other colours it interacts with. There are bits of green, there's blue. It is just absolutely beautiful. And then, so this is another DK, and then we have the sock. The sock is it's an 18-15, so it's an 85-15, 85% merino, 25%, 15% nylon. Oh my god, it's Friday. It's been a nightmare of a week. My brain's not working. So yeah, so this is the beautiful skein. I just love where the speckles, so some of the skeins have more speckles than others, and that basically depends on how quickly I manage to get to dabbing the dye, instead of just leaving it there. So if I'd sprinkled more dye and then didn't dab it quick enough, it had set in these speckles. Pretty much all of them will have some speckles. It's just that some are sharper than others, but that's the beauty of these sort of variegated yarns. And let me just order a bit more, looking over the camera. One thing I wanted to show you that it kind of broke my heart a little bit. So along with the batch that I dyed, the first batch that I dyed, I had a 20-gram mini sock mini from just my everyday sock, because it was the last mini that I had, which was a 75-25. And I did that, so here it is skeined up. So here is what the sock would look like skeined up, caked up. And it is absolutely beautiful. I mean, I love this. It's a little bit more jewel toned in real life, the camera, and because of the grey light that we have, because this is England, you know, it's grey outside, is showing them as a little bit brighter than they are. I mean, they are very bright. It's not too jewel toned, it's just that the Cabernet is a little bit deeper when I look at it in real life than what you see here. So anyway, I'd done the mini so that I could do a swatch just to get an idea of what it would look like. And then this thing happened. I had one of the DK skeins, and I'll show you in this DK skein as well. Can you see how messy they get? So I mean, I can snap it, get my hand in between, I could give it a snap. That's the right, that was my microwave being delivered. We didn't have a microwave in this house, and so now we have a microwave because I can't drink my coffee in time and it gets cold, and warming coffee on the hob is just such a faff. Anyway, so as I was saying, excuse the shadow of my foot, so the DK skeins kind of come a little bit, like after you've dyed them, they can be a little bit messy. So they look messy, and then you can give them a bit of a snap and you see it gets nice and tidy again. You can give it a twist and it's all fine. So I was just giving it a gentle snap to one of the skeins, and where you have the ties, so let me find the one that I'm looking for. There is, so you see this tie, it has the tie that keeps the skein together, but it also contains the two ends, so the beginning and the end of the big loop. So when you're untying your skein, untying these ties, and you need to be quite careful just in case you sort of snap or cut it in a weird way. So one of those came loose, and rather than, you can see it goes into 4 strands, rather than the 4 strands there were 6, and I was really confused. One of the strands came loose and I thought, okay, I'm just going to reskein this, because it was quite messy anyway, and when I was snapping it, it wasn't quite getting as tidy as I wanted it to be. So as I was reskeining it, I was winding it from one douche of a Swift to another douche of a Swift. I now have multiple Swifts. They're just nasty, mean things. The skein was actually 2 separate lengths of yarn, so about 85 grams of the skein was one long loop, and then it was broken, and then there was another 15 grams of yarn, and I was absolutely devastated, because essentially that is a skein that I can't, that I've dyed, and it's just kind of weird grams. If it was a 20 gram, I could probably turn it into, you know, 5 minis, but even that was a bit weird. So anyway, this is it caked up. So this is the bigger piece, and then from the little piece, the 20 gram piece, I did a swatch. So you actually get to see, I'll move them around, you get to see a swatch of it as well. It is so soft, and get back on my knees again. That sounds so rude. I'm a complete filth bag, apologies. So I did, this is just a crochet swatch, and I will do a knit one and put it up on Instagram as well. This, I think I might just start knitting a sock and have this be part of like a scrappy sock bit. I don't know what to do. What do you do with 85 grams of DK yarn? I could possibly combine it with some pink or something and do a cowl, or I mean, is this enough yarn for a hat? I don't really knit hats, so I don't know. I mean, I'm going to keep it because, you know, there's nothing else I can do with that yarn. I'm not going to turn it into minis. But yeah, if anyone has any ideas, obviously I can take the swatch apart and actually use the whole 100 grams as well. But I kind of really like the swatch. I want to keep it. This is half double crochet, US half double crochet, if anyone's wondering, and just look at that. The colours are so lovely, and again, it's coming a little bit blown out on the camera because of the light that I have here, but I just love it. I think it's so pretty. So anyway, I've been banging on about this yarn for 10 minutes now. I completely lost my train of thought, which is absolutely typical for a Friday afternoon. Yeah, so anyway, this is, I remember now what I was going to say. This is going to be available for purchase from tomorrow as part of the Yarn Craft Festival. There's going to be a discount code, so do check out my Instagram to find out what the discount code is for the showcase for Yarn Craft Fest, and all of the links that you will need will be in the video description below. I'm uploading this at silly o'clock on a Friday, so if it looks a little bit wonky, I do apologise. I've not had a lot of time to edit this video at all, But thank you very much for putting up with my absolute disaster result today, and thank you for watching the video and for supporting me. Please don't forget to hit the thumbs up, do subscribe if you haven't done so already, ding that notification bell so that you don't miss future content. And if you want to support the channel further, in the link below you can go and buy me a coffee, or you can actually go and buy one of these beautiful yarns as well. So thank you very much for joining me again, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.